How many times in a day do you text your friends, check Facebook on your laptop, or browse the internet? You probably do it a lot more than you realize. When was the last time you went a day without one of these technological commodities? Now, one day is a short period of time. Could you imagine going a whole week without a cell phone, the internet, or even television? Our civilization's reliance on technology has been sapping our strength since the moment we created it. As we increase the load we place on machines, we decrease the load we place on our own bodies. This has left us obese and frail, a society fueled by high fructose corn syrup and red dye number 8. We have replaced our brains with smartphones, our voices with thumbs and keypads, nature with a plasma screen, and the library with an Ethernet cord. This was not always the case. In a Lags audio interview from Huntsville, Tennessee, an elderly woman describes a much different time. A time where the lack of some of the technological innovations that we cherish today made life just a bit harder. The respondent, the elderly wife of a retired firefighter, weaves a tale filled with passion, courage, and grit. Hampered by the high waters of a recent flood, forced to go to great lengths, the respondent's husband, Claude, and his fellow bowlers show the reader and Mother Nature that their passion for bowling, alongside with their fearlessness, hard work ethic, and their overall higher level of manliness than the average man of today, allowed them to defeat Mother Nature and achieve their goal. The man of today is a bit softer, a bit fatter, and a bit slower than his predecessor. Citizens of our past lived in a world without video games, cell phones, or iPads. These daily conveniences have left members of today's society unaccustomed to actual physical hardship and stress, effectively handicapping us as we become more reliant on them. Natural disasters are some of the most stressful and physically demanding events one can expect to encounter in the world today. In this particular case, Claude and his bowling team are trapped in the middle of what the National Weather Service describes as one of Huntsville's most costliest floods in modern history. Claude's team...
They were to go to Little Rock, Arkansas to make their invitation for the state tournament, or the Southeastern.
They had been preparing for weeks leading up to the event, only to have a horrible setback. 3 days before their bowling tournament, Charlie, one of Claude's teammates, was checked into the hospital with a kidney stone that seemingly would not pass. Only to exacerbate things, in the early hours of Friday morning, as Claude's teammates were rolling out of their respective beds, flash floods ravaged a large area of North Alabama and southern Middle Tennessee. As Claude was navigating flooded Huntsville, trying to retrieve his teammates, the respondent got a call from Charlie's wife. She said that,
and he was going with him. If he could catch him, if not, he was going to fly.
This devotion shows how much tougher the average man was. Today we run inside at the first sign of a storm cloud or the first crack of thunder. Today's citizen has thoroughly protected himself from the hazards of the natural world. Enveloped by a protective cocoon of technology, we live content to experience life staring into the natural elegance and sleek beauty of an 800 by 1200 pixel Super AMOLED Plus screen. iPhones, iPads, Blackberries, Androids, and tablets. I could go on. The list of portable information devices, or PIDs, grows longer by the day, with companies unveiling new technology month after month, luring the consumer into buying the fanciest gadget. Our society has become infatuated with information. Our obsessive love has grown to encompass anything involved with information, the creating of, the obtaining of, or the processing of. It has become a goal of the masses, as a way of determining rank or status, to be able to obtain the most amount of information in the shortest period of time. Technology has left members of today's society weak and frail, unaccustomed to actual physical hardship and stress. Our society has become dormant and sedated. A recent study conducted by The Telegraph showed that on average, children receive their first cell phone at the age of 8. We are breeding a race to coexist alongside with technology. We have created a symbiotic relationship with it. Technology has allowed mankind to achieve greatness, yet mankind has allowed technology to reach a similar state. What we must realize is that while we are feeding off technology, the same technology is feeding off of us. Sans technology, our race would falter and die, but sans the human race, technology would cease to exist. We live infected by this idea, suckling for nourishment from a diseased nipple. As a citizen of the present, I too have been infected with this virus. Oftentimes I find myself staring into my computer screens as windows into another world. As I am drawn further into one, I am pulled away from the other. Now at times this can be productive. As a citizen of the present, it is practically required to exist in a surreal area between the finite physical world and the infinite possibilities of technology. The world will never again exist without technology, and it has become a necessary tool for many people. However, we must remind ourselves often of the vast physical world that surrounds us. The Lag's audio interview reminds us that Claude and his teammates did not have the technology to rely on, and were forced to adapt to the situations at hand. With nothing more than a never say never attitude, Claude's team was able to overcome the largest flood in Huntsville's history and make it to the tournament. More likely than not, the average citizen of today, weighed down by pocketfuls of Androids and Blackberries, supported by atrophied muscles, would not be able to overcome an event like this. Can you imagine living a life without technology? What if it was all taken away from you? Would you sink, or would you swim?